much better. I've been trying to drink more water lately and I think I'm getting used to it. This new water bottle is actually great for that though. Anyway, hello my lovelies. Today I'm just doing a wee video going through my flower maintenance. So really I have all these little plants I've been collecting over the past wee while, and about once a week I go through them all, make sure that they're happy, they're healthy, they're watered, and then rearrange my windowsill. And I thought that today maybe I'd just video that process so you could see kind of what's going on with my plants. So to begin with, I'm just putting them all in this crate because honestly last time I moved my plants around, no, not even that. So this tablecloth actually went in the wash recently, and when it came back I didn't actually put it away properly. I just kind of folded it in half and then stuck it on the table instead of tucking it around the back properly. And because the shelf that my plants are on is situated behind, or is actually sitting on top of the table, it means that I've got to take everything off that shelf to be able to put the tablecloth on properly. So I'm going to start off by doing that, and then I'm going to look after my plants and then put them back. Right, let's see how that went. Oh, sorry. Just whacked the camera. See, when I film anything, I try and keep my camera on charge because I can't actually imagine anything worse than finishing a video to realise that my camera ran out of battery halfway through. It would be an absolute nightmare because I wouldn't be able to refilm it and I'd just have to either use what footage I had or go without. So here is my big guys. Now this really doesn't look the happiest. They all don't look the happiest. I'm really having issues with the balance between sunshine and water. We've had some very, very sunny days recently here, which is unusual for Scotland. And the weeds outside are loving it because they've had a whole lot of sun and then a whole lot of rain quite suddenly. So this bit is all looking a bit dead really, but this was a died plant. We've got some new growth coming up here, which is quite exciting. And the soil's quite moist. I'm just going to add a little bit of water, but it doesn't need much. So that little bit of water should have helped that one. And then we'll do the basil. Basil, I came home the other day and I hadn't actually watered it in about half a week. And it was so very dry, the whole thing had wilted. So I topped the bowl up with water quite deep. And it's looking a lot healthier now. But I forget this thing drinks an awful lot of water. It's thirstier than any of my other plants. And now here's my spiky boy. Now this is just some chives, and these chives were unhappy when we bought them. Like, we just picked them up at the grocery store and they weren't happy then, but they were the only pot left. And I was like, well, maybe if I look after them I'll be able to nurse them back to health. And they have perpetually stayed at a point where they've got all these dying off shoots, but also a lot of live growth as well. I don't think it helps that the cat likes to eat the chives. Not that she should, but she likes to, and you can't stop her exactly. But it never seems to have more dead growth than live or fresh growth. Like, it seems to be at a constant level of drying out, and I don't quite understand it, but it seems pretty happy, so I'm just gonna continue living in hope that it will survive as a plant. So these are my big guys, which I will just stick back right on my windowsill. Now these are the ones that live on my very top windowsill. And then underneath we have a bit of a selection. So let's start at the beginning. Oh, this is one of my big succulents. This is probably my first big succulent. And I love this one. I painted this pot myself, which is quite lovely. It's quite dry though. So I'm just going to add some fresh water underneath and drop him back into his pot. And then we'll take my big prickly boy. I can't actually get this one out of its pot because it's so very prickly. I mean, that is the joys of being a cactus. And he doesn't need much water, just a little bit every now and then. And he gets plenty of sunlight as well on the windowsill. So, these are my two newest plants. They're very cute. Moss has taken to picking plants up on his way when he's doing his shopping for me, and he brings one home when he comes home. And I've not really had a chance to have a proper look at them, as he picked this one up both of them up this week, I think. But I do love this little orange round flower pot. I think that's probably why he picked up this one, because orange is his favourite colour. But it doesn't have a little pot inside, which is unusual and, as you can see, quite messy. But it's very cute. I like the darker colours. It's very different to my other succulents that are similar. Yes, very different to the ones that are similar. I kind of want to do some pot swapping. I wonder if you'd fit in any of the smaller pots. Oh, probably. Quite possibly, actually. Oh, you don't seem to have a pot either at the moment. Do none of you have pots? Are you all... I'm sure an awful lot of you had pots. Like, I feel like they all had pots once. If you're growing out of your pot, you need a larger pot. Sorry, don't mind me while I have my little ramble to myself about flower pots. Let's put you in here. Oh no, you do need to be in a larger pot. Maybe that's why you were in the purple one when I got you. That is quite plausible. Very plausible. Yes, because these ones with the little plastic pots came in these little textured flower pots. So I'm just going to give you a little bit more water. Be comfy. I do like this little purple flower pot that I've got here. I'm actually, as you can see, quite a few of these guys are beginning to grow out of their pots. And I'm trying to work out where exactly I should be looking to get more, because I love the pots that I have. They're cute, they're wee. Like, I like this plain one because I'm thinking I might paint it. Yes, I like it plain, so I can make it be less plain. Bit of a ironic, possibly, situation. But also I like the ones that are textured and colourful and bright, because I think they look nice on my windowsill. And I wouldn't need to paint them. And I'm just adding a wee bit of water underneath these plants. in each of their pots, and that way the roots can drink the water if they need it, but it's not being forced upon them, so they're not going to drown. This one's been doing really well. Just look at all this growth. It was quite, when I first got this one, it was the same shape as this one, only with smoother leaves. But because he's been in the sun and he's had perfect conditions, he's grown up quite fast. And he's made a little new shoot. There's a little baby coming up there. I'm quite excited about the wee baby. But this is why I need new plant pots, because these guys need space to grow, but I don't want to put them into anything too big right now. Pardon, I have the hiccups for some reason. Right now, because I think they're just so cute in their little wee pots that they've come in. Have I lost a flower pot?
Sadly, just after those words of such importance were uttered, the camera had died. Now not only did we miss plant pots, we missed footage. These were hard times, almost without hope. The vigil was almost abandoned. It was left on the cutting room floor like so many other Cranberry Kelpie's ideas, such as feeling felt, titillating textures, and let's review the colour. However, there is hope yet. With the help of brushes and paints, this project, lovingly entitled Plants, was saved. What you're about to see is what could only be described as genius. Never one to give up, Manon decided to make yet another one of her pots into an art project, thus saving this very vigil for you, the viewer, to enjoy. And now, Plants, the continuation!
I've put him into my alpaca plant pot, which is the one that I thought had gone missing, but it was on my desk, holding my trusty little hedgehog pincushion. And while he is in there being an alpaca backpack, is an alpaca or a llama? I do not know what the difference is. People do tell me on a regular basis, and I keep forgetting because I have a brain like a sieve. And I'm just painting his wee flower pot. So I started painting his wee flower pot by covering the bottom with masking tape. And now I am just throwing a couple of coats of white paint along the top. Then when I dropped it, I did smudge the paint. So there's a couple of spots where it's not quite as thick as I'd liked. But I am going to be adding pattern over the top of this, so hopefully that will hide those bits. And I actually didn't think this was the right paint to use. On behalf of it being watercolour, the only reason I am using it because it seems that I have run out of a fair few of my acrylic colours. However, I thought I'd give this a shot, and that way I can either have a new method or know why this is a bad idea. Usually when I find mixing these colours, black's the most overpowering over white. It just takes very little to make a very dark grey. But these seem to be going the other way a bit. Maybe I just overestimated how strong the black was and got my white proportions too high. But either way, I feel these are quite a nice selection. That's better. Yep, still recording. Okay. Getting too used to it just suddenly stopping now, really. Now, I was going to just do some geometric shapes. I had initially thought about putting masking tape over, but I don't think it would actually, I think it would rip off the paint that's still there. So I'm just going to do these by eye, really.
Plants, plant pots, plant pots, plant pots, plant pots, plant pots, plant plots, plant plots, plant plots, plant pots, plant pots, plant pots, plant pots, plant pots, plant pots, plant pots.
So, as I said earlier, this entire video, as I've been working on it, has been playing up. So I didn't catch me finishing this little flower pot up. So all I did though was I waited for the grey triangles to dry, and then I outlined them in my gold pen and took the tape off. And I think this has come out pretty cute. I don't know whether or not I'll add more gold details onto this. I think I will, because it's okay, but it could still be worked on. But this was just a little something I did to test out my new camera angle, and I'm pretty happy with it. So we'll put this little guy back into his original pot. And I can add some water to that for him. So as always, if you enjoyed my art, feel free to check me out on social media, and rock on, lovelies. Stay safe. So this is how all my plants are now. I've repotted a couple, moved most of them around, but they are all just, yeah, doobity-doo.
Wow!